everybody here. I'd like to introduce myself to everyone. Some of you don't know me, perhaps. My name's Marlene Levine, and I'm the president of the DuPage Will chapter of Hadassah. The criteria for selecting the individual for the Woman of the Century Award was spelled out by National Hadassah very specifically. The award recipient should possess some, if not all, of the qualities listed: commitment to Zionism, visionary, teaches others to be leaders and advocates, makes a difference to the community through her actions and deeds. No one in our chapter exemplifies the finest qualities required to be Woman of the Century more than Elaine Beyer, and that is why we are honoring her today. And now we would like to have Mackenzie and Haley say the motzi.
Wait, you have to go in now.
Yes. Go ahead.
You have to go up there. So
We can't eat until you do it.
okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. But before we eat, I'd like to bring up Carol Kerr, who will dedicate our angels to us. How are you going to get here? Oh, I had it before.
Well, then I'll go before.
Okay.
Bobby and Jerry, could you come help? Angels, and I want to thank all of you that are here. There's so many people who aren't here who have contributed to this event, but more importantly to Hadassah. Hadassah is a wonderful organization that does so much work for Israel and in healthcare. But I have a very important kind of little story to tell you. That's apropos of this week. Last Sunday, I was at a region conference for Hadassah, and this is the letter I wrote to the region president, or not to the region president, to a woman who did a presentation there. And this is something that happened this week. Ruby Lash, who some of you know, made the presentation on AMD. And this week I wrote Ruby this note. Dear Ruby, since I was fortunate enough to hear your presentation Sunday, I have been to an eye doctor, been referred to a retinologist, and have been diagnosed and treated for wet AMD. I had been aware that my eyes were not quite right, but was going to get this dealt with when I was finished with a couple of projects that I'm involved in, like this. Ruby, without your presentation, I may very well have let this go until greater damage had been done. I cannot thank you enough for the difference you have made. And I thank Rita and Hadassah for bringing this information to us. By the way, my retinologist had been to a lecture and workshop where the principal speaker was the head of ophthalmology for Hadassah Hospital. And the retinologist was very impressed with the work they are doing. And that's what it means to be part of this organization. Hadassah cares about Israel, cares about healthcare and education in Israel, but it cares about us as members too. And that's part of the way I spent my week. So, I'm going to go ahead with the awards. Bobby Chester, one of our fundraising chairmen, is going to help me. And again, I just cannot thank you all enough for what you have done. First, I'm going to recognize 3 people who made awards who are not here, Angel Awards. Sharon Brodsky, Ellen Mandel, and Seema Petri all sent money to support this event. There are people who gave money in the silver category, $50 to $125, who are not here. Are Diana Schneidman, Susan Brainen, Elaine Resk, Francis Peshkin, Carol Metter, Natalie Young, and Yona Clem. And now I'd like to present something to those of you who are in the silver category who did come. Judy Marshall. Please. Yeah. Yes. Judy Marshall. Jean and Linda Parker.
I'll get it.
Just keep moving. Why don't you help too, Marlene? Elaine Rest. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong column. Diana Schneidman. Jan Strauss. Julie, who's passing them around.
No, I'm Jen.
Jenny, I'm always doing that to you. Julie Benario, Rita Crayman, and Susan Gandon. Those in our diamond category who are here today are Susan Gandon, Alice Silverman, Jerry Mendelson, and Bobby Chester, and Robin Stanton, who inadvertently left out of the program. That was sorry about that.
Carol.
What?
Randy.
Robin has been married how many years?
5.
5. It takes me 5 years. Robin Raymond, who inadvertently got left out of the program. Sorry to be slow.
I think we're done with this color. This is exactly what the next
Yes. Oh.
That's a nice silver.
In the diamond category, I want to recognize Pat and Norm Cass, Ray Eisenberg, Marlene Levine, who's also out helping present these awards, and Barbara Lipkin.
So who, Barb Lipkin, oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Barb Lipkin.
Our patron, I wanted to mention the name of Bernie and Judy Newman could not be with us today. Bernie and Judy Newman could not be with us today, but made a donation in the patron category. And then for research patrons, these are the people that gave over $500. Linda Hafer.
We have more of these.
We get the knives. Linda Hafer, Susan Morse. Susan Morse came here from Washington, D.C. Susan Morse has curly red hair.
I got it. I'm coming. Who else?
Sheila Fisher, Elaine and Mike Beyer. And I also want to mention people who could not be here. Heather and Jamie Plotzer. I assume, Elaine, these are friends of yours that made a patron donation. And Jean Epstein, who also made a patron donation. And then I want to make 2 more.
Linda, did you get yours?
Linda Hafer.
I have 2 more very, very special awards. These are to 2 women who are keepers of the gate. These are 2 women who are here who have already pledged over to make a donation of at least $1,000 every year to Hadassah, but in addition to that, sent a significant donation to support this program. So I wanted to have a special donation, special mention of them, and we have a flower, and we've had a tree planted in Israel for both those people, Paulette Goodman and Karen Summers.
And now it's time for lunch.
Thank you. Oh. The big fluff, yeah.
Every woman with 4 pairs of shoes is bad.
Oh my goodness, almost like being on stage. Everybody got quiet and is staring at me as I stare at Elaine. It is truly my great privilege and honor today to introduce to you my best friend, my sister, my girlfriend, Elaine Beyer. She is truly the person that is my go-to person, not just for my baking issues, not for just the little bits of everyday stuff, but for everything, it seems. I talk to her practically every day. If we don't speak in 3 days, one of us will call the other and say, "Everything okay? What's going on?" Because we keep in such close contact. I can thank that close contact for a meeting at a temple in Naperville, Illinois. It was a Hadassah meeting. There were probably around 15, maybe 20 ladies. I had heard lots of talk about this person, this Elaine. And I wandered downstairs, because it had an upstairs and a downstairs, if you remember the old temple. And in the kitchen was Elaine. She was fixing something up. She was preparing something, getting something straightened, because they were serving desserts or some sweet for the end of the thing. And I asked if I could help. That was the beginning of a relationship that has lasted these many years. And I hope and pray that they last many more. She is the person in our chapter that all presidents have turned to ask, what do I do in this case? She is the person that the fundraising people have always gone to, and a chair that she held for many years, and people wondered why. Because it just came naturally to her. It came easy to her because Hadassah is in her mind and in her heart. She knows what it does, and she knows who it cares for. Because Hadassah doesn't just care for the people over in Israel. It cares for the people here in the United States. It fights for women's causes and women's rights. And Elaine, in her own way, has always been that kind of person, taking a stand for what she believes to be right. Having her today as our Woman of the Century is just the cherry on the cake, the cherry on the top of the whipped cream on top of the sundae. And it is my honor to say thank you, Elaine, Thank you for being my best friend. And thank you all for coming and celebrating this day for her. Hear, hear. L'chaim to life.
All right, I never, ever, ever speak a prepared speech. However, I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning and thought, maybe I need to write a few notes. So I wrote a couple of notes down. I am overwhelmed by this honor, and my thanks to you for giving this to me, as my talk will be very short. I moved here in 1974 and got a phone call from a friend who lived behind me, Felice Dorsey, who asked me to come to a meeting about starting a Hadassah chapter. And I went because I wanted to meet people. I mean, why else, right? I walked out of that meeting as the interim president of the new Hadassah. We were chartered the next year, and I was elected president. I had thought I was going to get away with just the interim presidency. That didn't work. We worked hard, but we had a lot of fun doing it. We sold Passover supplies because the groceries didn't have anything here, but you could get things from Hadassah, good things. We made 2 cookbooks. We had corned beef boxes and lox boxes. We had bake sales, fashion shows, and are you ready for this? Lingerie shows. We had luncheons, dinners, brunches. We got bigger because we ate all the time, but boy, it was good. We made lots and lots of friends and family, because Hadassah becomes your family, not just your friends. We went to horse races and plays. Look at all the things we used to do. We could start over and do it again. I became active on the region board, and I traveled around to greet and meet the chapters I was responsible for, which the area vice presidents used to do. More friends, more family. I moved away for a few years, and when I moved back, I was greeted by Paulette, who said, "I have the perfect job for you." So I became donor chair. And that was 20 years ago. I started having the donor dinners at my house or someplace. Thank you, Paulette. Barb Lipkin became president and needed a fundraising vice president. And she said to me, "Would you do it just while I'm president?" And I said, "Well, sure, just while you're president." Barb was president for 3 years. I was fundraising VP for 14 years. It didn't equal out, Barb. I could go on, but I promised to make this short, and I will. Thank you to all of you for joining me in making our Hadassah chapter so special. Thank you for this award, and thank you for being my friends and family, because you truly are. Thank you.
I have a few little things for you.
Oh, my.
Just
I want white cake. Whoever's passing the cake, I want white cake.
White cake with a really big flower on,
Yeah.
flower on the top.
Elaine, I am very proud to present to you the Hadassah Centennial Woman of the Century Award.
Oh, that's beautiful. And look at the framing. Where is it? Thank you, Mel.
You did a beautiful job.
Isn't this beautiful?
And a few more gifts.
Oh, my.
It's like your birthday.
All right, this is a special little gift from our chapter. It is
Oh, it's the
our
bracelet you
new
showed me.
Hadassah bracelets. It has an elastic band in Hadassah blue. They are adjustable. It has the Shema on it and a little Hadassah charm. And they are for sale for $36. And I happen to have some with me. What a surprise. What a surprise. Everyone who knows me.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much.
Welcome. And more.
And more.
But wait, there's more.
It's like Hanukkah. Just keep coming. Were you ever on Wheel of Fortune, Marlene?
This is a copy of the centennial book that was published by Hadassah called Thin Threads, Hadassah's Life-Changing Moments. It is a beautiful book with stories that are very inspirational, all relating to women and their experiences with Hadassah. And there's a lady from our chapter who wrote a chapter in this book.
The woman from Belgium.
From Belgium. We actually have a woman who's a member of our chapter from Belgium, and she wrote the chapter for this book. And I inscribed it to Elaine Beyer in recognition of your many years of dedication and service to Hadassah and being selected our Woman of the Century. And I signed it Marlene Levine, President, DuPage Will Chapter.
Thank you so much. I really do want to thank everybody for all the hard work you've done on this. It was just beautiful. Jenny, you just stepped in and just did an amazing job. Thank you all so much.
We have more coming. I just have to get one more.
Am I?
Think you're good?
Am I through up here?
Okay, no problem. Oh, yeah, but wait. Yes, you are for right this second.
We'll let Elaine sit down, and then...
Can I leave?
Yes, you can leave your goodies if you'd like.
I have the bracelet on, but I don't have any room there.
Put it back there for you.
Okay.
And she wants to serve some coffee, so give her a minute to get
All right, we're going to
coffee
let the servers serve coffee right now, and then we will continue with
While
our
they're
program.
serving the coffee and you're eating your cake, Robin is going to start the rest of the program.
So this is a little more about Mom and not as much about Hadassah. You've heard a lot about Hadassah, but in May of 1966, there was this article in the Danville newspaper. Today's fair with flair personality, Mrs. Myron Beyer, will be baking one of her family's favorites, a luscious chocolate pie. I like to cook, explained Mrs. Beyer, sort of an understatement. And her husband is very receptive to all her little trials and experiments. So are Jeffrey, 3.5, and Robin, 1.5, especially if it's chocolate pie. Mrs. Beyer is active in the Ladies Auxiliary Club, the Junior Service Club, the Salvation Army, and is busy working on a bazaar right now for the Salvation Army Nursery and Kindergarten. That was my first foray into my mother's volunteer efforts. There's a picture on the slideshow of Mom cutting a pie and Jeff and I standing next to her going, "Pie, pie, pie." So this was the first of many of her volunteer efforts. I remember sitting in the living room watching this first Hadassah meeting where, you know, she comes out as president. I remember a fashion show that we did, Selena. Yeah, we remember the fashion show. Yes, boy did we have cute outfits, let me tell ya. There were bake sales in Wheaton where Selena and I got to run around and play with all the other kids and eat lots of goodies. Yes, and play, yes. Garage sales where Selena and I got all kinds of really fun games to play with. And until they got sold. Well, yeah, they did sell them eventually. But do you get a theme here? So Mom did all this work and I got to have all this fun. As I got older, I realized how much fun she was having too with this. I also started to more importantly understand what it was she was achieving. I mean, I always knew what she did for us, but I was also amazed by what she did for others. She has always been everybody's favorite mom. My brothers and my friends practically lived at our house, and actually some of them did live there. Watching as she raised endless money for Hadassah, helped the speech therapy unit at Marion Joy, and made meals for the Hesed committee at Beth Shalom. These all have made me so incredibly proud of her. She taught me that we can all make a difference, that no matter how busy things are, you can bake a batch of brownies, which at this point, if you laid them end to end, would probably be about 2 miles. You can do little things, donate a bag of clothing, attend a luncheon. Little things, sometimes big things, no matter what else was going on in our lives, and there was a lot, she could always find time to do something. My mom is one of those people who makes you want to be like her, who inspires you to do more, who urges you to be better. Don't you start. Yeah. She always made me believe I could do anything, which is something I've tried to teach my kids. She's also one of those people who can roll with just about anything. Dad traveled a lot, so she pretty much had to deal with whatever was happening at home. Me cracking my skull open roller skating. Jeff breaking his leg in football. The water heater dying. Me cutting my thumb open. Jeff stress fracturing his shoulder. Me breaking my ankle. Okay, we weren't necessarily the most coordinated bunch. No matter what was going on, she was there, staying calm, taking care of everything.
Except.
Well, yeah, unless you got sick. If you got sick, you were either on your own or wait till Dad got home. She would discipline us as needed, but we also knew how to get away with things. When Jeff was little, he would go and pick up something he wasn't supposed to touch and throw it on the floor, and then he'd go up to her and go, "Hit, bad boy, hit." Kind of hard to be mad at him when he was being that cute and repentant. Me, I just had to get her laughing, and I knew I could get out of trouble. My own kids use that one on me these days. It's things like that that have made me the person I am today. I took the presidency of Hadassah exactly 30 years after my mom was the founding president. One of the proudest moments I've had was when she pinned the president's pin on me. I'm so proud and honored to have her as my mother and as my friend. She truly is the woman of this and any other century.
Well, as president of the chapter, I get to make the final speech. And the one that's kind of the most Hadassah oriented, because as president of Hadassah, I am committed to tell you something about Hadassah. Not just some of the fun things, but some of the important things that we are doing. And I want to talk to you today, let me put my glasses on so I can talk to you, about a great Hadassah achievement which has not received as much attention or recognition as it probably should have, due to the immense publicity and attention that has been given to the Centennial Convention and to the Sarah Wetzman Davidson Tower. Don't get me wrong, those were very, very important things, and the tower is still at the peak of what we are raising funds for and doing for Hadassah. I know because I was fortunate enough to be at the Centennial Convention in Jerusalem this past October, and it was an awe-inspiring event. However, some of Hadassah's other great works may have taken a back seat in our attention during this time. And I want to tell you about one of these other magnificent achievements of Hadassah that you may not be as familiar with. And this is Hadassah Academic College, Jerusalem. The college sits on a historic piece of land where in 1888, Baron Rothschild of France established the first hospital for Jews and Arabs outside the old city walls. The Rothschild compound continues to be preserved as the core building of the campus today. And then in 1918, Hadassah opened a school of nursing in this compound, and this was the first school of nursing in Israel. And then in 1939, when the Rothschild Hospital closed and moved to Mount Scopus, the Rothschild compound was transferred into an educational and vocational training center under the management and auspices of Hadassah. However, it wasn't until 1970 that Hadassah Community College, as it was then known, was opened. It was established to meet the changing needs in Israel for trained professionals. Technical courses and studies were stressed. And in 1989, the college was renamed the Hadassah College of Technology. In 1996, the college was accredited by the Council for Higher Education, and the departments of Computer Sciences and Optometry were inaugurated. From 1997 to the present, the college has added departments of medical laboratory sciences, communications disorders, departments in biotechnology and environmental health, photographic communication, and inclusive industrial design. A pre-academic program for Palestinian high school graduates has been opened because the college accepts Palestinian students. A Department of Management and graduate program in Vision Sciences and Optometry with postgraduate opportunities, a Master of Science program in Computer Sciences, programs in Politics and Communication, and a graduate program in Communication Disorder. That is why in 2010, the college was renamed for the final time, Hadassah Academic College, Jerusalem. Currently, there are approximately 2,400 students attending the college. To me, one of the most interesting aspects of Hadassah Academic College is the degree track program begun just last year in 2012, which offers ultra-Orthodox students an entree into the academic world. This is a first in Israel. Unlike in the US, where the ultra-Orthodox hold jobs and support themselves and their community, the ultra-Orthodox in Jerusalem often do not work and depend on others like wealthy Americans and Europeans to support them. The college built an additional campus across the street from the main campus. It's called the Strauss campus, and it's at the gates of Mir Sharim, which offers ultra-Orthodox students an academic environment tailored to their lifestyle. This includes separation of men and women in the classes, which are mostly in the evening, and the same professors teach in the day in the main campus as do at the Strauss campus. And both campuses, there is also separation from secular students this way as well, so the ultra-Orthodox have their own place to study and to learn. The president of Hadassah College, Dr. Bertold Friedlander, said, "We are amazed at the demand. About 1,000 ultra-Orthodox applied to the different programs at the school, half of whom are specifically interested in biotechnology work." "This is very surprising," said Janif Rosenberg, spokesman of Hadassah College. "They usually tend to prefer other fields other than research and science. They usually like to go into computer engineering, accounting, management, or education." The formal education is not only good for the individual, as it allows them to enter the job market, but for the city of Jerusalem and the state of Israel. It helps provide equal tools and opportunities for everyone in order to close the gaps in Israeli society. Many of the ultra-Orthodox students do not possess an a high school diploma or test scores that are required to take to enter college. So they are required to take a preparatory academic year in addition to their 3-year track program. They go 3 years to college because they go summers as well. In this preparatory year, they study math, English, academic writing, and other subjects necessary for them to learn in order to fill the gap between them and other students. In general, the majority of the new campus's students are women, but in the biotechnology program, men showed more interest. In addition, married men enrolled in the biotechnology track are offered a sum of $1,500 new Israeli shekels, which they can use for studies, housing, or any other basic need, because most of them are already married and they're pretty young. Recently, the Leona M. and Harry B. Helmsley Charitable Trust, yes, the same Queen of Mean, has granted the Hadassah Academic College a lead gift of $7.1 million to build an interdisciplinary science center. The center will provide state-of-the-art classroom facilities for anticipated student growth. The building will also house an art gallery for art, photography, and cultural exhibits, and also a 350-seat auditorium for the college's use and also for community-wide events. This coming summer, the International School for Overseas Students will open, and they're expecting students from the U.S. and all over Europe to come to study at the college. Hadassah Academic College students are being recognized around the world for their achievements in design, photography, and biotechnology. Recently, there was an article, I believe it was in the Hadassah magazine, showing a picture of a chair that was designed by a student in the design program. It was very, very unusual and very functional. 50% of all the students at the college rely on financial aid, so your support is critical. About half of them are the first of their families to achieve higher education. 90% of the graduates find employment in their chosen fields within 6 months of graduation, which is not happening here these days, that's for sure. Carol Goodman Kaufman, PhD, chair, Hadassah Academic College, said, "Since before the State of Israel was born, Hadassah has understood the importance of education, and since that time has continuously provided training and educational opportunities. By offering this gift of knowledge, we give hope." Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that you realize that your dollars to Hadassah are helping to support not only the other great good deeds that Hadassah does, but this one as well. And in case you haven't heard the good news, Hadassah has been awarded the highest rating of 4 stars from Charity Navigator, America's leading independent charity evaluator. We're extremely proud of this designation. This means that Hadassah provides the highest bang for your fundraising bucks. Please continue to give to Hadassah. The world is counting on it. I'd like to thank you all for coming today to honor Elaine Beyer and showing your support for the wonderful works of Hadassah.
Elaine just keeps eating cake.
And now, thank you very much, everyone. I would just like to take this moment to thank several people who have been very instrumental in putting this event together. And they're not in any particular order, so don't feel slighted if your name isn't at the top of the list. But The people that we definitely want to thank so much are Milt Volpe, Carol Kerr, Linda Hafer, Robin and Mike Ramig, Alice Silverman, Barb Lipkin, Sheila Fisher, Paulette Goodman, Debbie Garber, Bobby Chester, Jerry Mendelson, Nat Goodman, Jan Strauss, and very especially Jenny Bermudez. Will you please stand? Because without you, Michelle Stein, who actually began the whole thing, and then due to the birth of her twin grandsons, she got a little busy there because they were a little bit early. She turned it over to Jenny, who just did a phenomenal job. So thank you all so much for all of your wonderful work and the efforts that you made to make this day a success and to honor Elaine. Thank you all for coming, and have a wonderful day.